All right, everyone, we're back. Welcome back to Speed Gaming's Spring Marathon benefiting No Kid Hungry, a charity dedicated to the mission of eradicating childhood hunger. All donations go directly to the charity. You can type !NKH in the chat. Go to speedgaming.org/NoKidHungry to see links to the schedule, to the donation button, and to all the incentives and prizes that we have. Without further ado, I'm going to pass this over to Keizaron, who's going to be running Ender Lilies.
Hi everyone, I'm Keizaron, and I'm joined by Emre, who's going to be my commentator for this. We're doing Ender Lilies Quietest of the Nights. It's an indie Metroidvania that came out, last June? I think June of 2021, sounds about right. Kind of got overshadowed because, Metroid Dread was announced like an hour after it came out. Not really, but it might as well have been. So, this is one that a lot of people kind of missed, but it's a really, really beautiful game. I'm going to be showing off the 100% category, and before I start, I just want to kind of explain how the 100% category is listed as such. I have to pick up every single item, I have to unlock every room in the entire game, even if they don't have items, and I have to defeat all the bosses, including sub-bosses. At the end, whether you see orange or yellow on the map, depending on if you're colorblind or not, I see yellow, some people see orange. Every room is going to be yellow/orange except one room, and that is the final boss room, and that's how we verify it at the end. But with that, I'm pretty much good to go if you're ready to do some talking for me.
Yeah.
All
I think
right.
the only other thing is that there's a cutscene at the beginning, and timing is actually going to start after that.
So that's actually been updated. This was
really?
after your time. So as you can see, I have a pre-made file here. The timing of this actually starts as soon as you start the file. There's a neat little plug-in for Live Split that actually makes fresh files for you in this game, so you start at the same time every time. It's pretty convenient. But as soon as I select this file, time will start, and we'll be starting in 3, 2, 1, go. So right away, you're gonna see me do really funky movement here. I'm doing the dash / dodge mechanic here, and if you do it at the right time, you can actually do it twice when you hit the ground. That is our fastest movement right now until we actually get more movement options. You're also going to see me go for some damage boosts here. I kind of missed all of them except one, but it doesn't save too much time.
Another important thing about the dodge specifically is that it's kind of a Dark Souls dodge where you have iframes during the duration of your dodge. So what he's trying to do is in the dodge while he's on the opposite side of the enemy.
Something that you saw there is as I was ledge climbing, I kind of went up a little fast. I kind of glitched up a little bit. This game cancels out the climb animation if you use your heal mechanic at the same time. So it's just a neat little way to get more vertical movement more quickly. Let's see if I could get this damage boost. Nope. That's a really hard one to get, and I don't think I've ever actually been launched the wrong way before. We're walking by something called a respite, which is similar to benches in Hollow Knight, which, you can definitely explain what those are.
Yeah, so whenever you bench, you can change your weapons, your equips, things like that, and it's also a warp point. So that's going to be significant in routing, especially in 100%, where we have to do everything.
I'm going to do something I wouldn't normally do in a run and safety heal there, because that is not the time to die. We don't have any checkpoints available right now. We did walk by a bench, but we didn't use it. And we don't actually have fast travel unlocked for benches yet. We don't get that for another couple of minutes.
Yeah, normally in like a serious world record attempt of this run, like this first section, you see a lot of resets because there's just like so many damage boosts that are optimal. Neat thing right there. So whenever you pick up an item, you have iframes for like a second to 2 seconds, I think. Like, I don't remember exactly.
It's an egregious amount of time.
It is a ridiculous amount of time. So you can like pick up an item in order to dodge being hit by an enemy.
Unlike me trying to dodge there. Also, funny enough, my auto split actually split as soon as we started, so... Yikes.
Well, it's a good thing you healed. The good thing is that the boss that he's about to go into right now is very consistent. I was waiting until the second phase before I said anything. She was actually updated on later patches to not have a consistent pattern like that. But on the patch that Keiz is running on, and the 106 patch, she will always do the same thing if you're spacing and your inputs are correct.
That was a little bit of a slow fight. I also lost a little bit of time at the beginning because even though it doesn't affect the actual marathon run, like I said, my auto splitter split super early and that was going to bug the heck out of me. So we actually stood there and like let damage kind of disappear for a little bit. But yeah, that's the first major boss. She's technically considered a major boss in terms of progression, but in terms of her actual spirit, which I'll explain that in a sec, she's actually considered a sub-spirit. There are two different types of spirits in this game, which spirits are what you're using to attack. As you see, I'm using this sword. His name is Umbral. He is a main spirit. You can tell because his color is red. Main spirits have a red color and sub-spirits have a yellow color. Sigrid aside, which is who we just beat, the game actually gets more difficult the more main bosses you defeat. It works on a chapter system. So defeating Sigrid right there now puts us at chapter 2. So all the enemies, to a degree, are a little stronger depending on what area they're in. Once you defeat a boss in an area, that area's chapter is essentially locked. So if we beat the boss Eileen in the Witch's Thicket, which is the forest we're going to next, everything will be locked at chapter 2 once I beat her. So it adds an interesting mechanic to how to route things, because you certainly want some bosses to be easier than others, but it also comes down to overall just what's the faster movement and what's more convenient to do. There's actually a sub-spirit right above us right there that I'm ignoring because it's faster to come back later when we have more abilities, because there's another item we can get. And that's kind of just a Metroidvania routing for any sort of completionist category in general. It's just weighing out, is it better to get the items now, or is it better later when you have more abilities available?
Can I jump in for a quick donation read here?
Absolutely.
Okay, we got 2 donations. We have a $25 donation from Raku Raid. Thank you very much. And we have a $50 donation from Dante, who says, $50 as promised for my non-99s in the Stepmania X Showcase. Good luck to the rest of the runners. Cool, thanks very much for those donations.
It's so wild to me how often I'm healing, because in real runs they'd be like, nope, we're gonna die, keep going.
It's alright, you're a little rusty, it's fine.
Fun fact, the last D-Rust I did of this was a couple of days ago, and I actually beat the record by 0.22 seconds. It's the same minute, so it isn't even worth really submitting to me. But yeah, we use Loadless time for all Ender Lilies categories. There's not too bad of loads, but there's enough of a difference, you know, just the usual PC running deal. Some people's computers are better than others. So the loadless time for this is a 1:57:42. That's right, you can beat it in roughly 2 hours. So not bad, not bad. Compared to, you know, some Metroidvanias that take 3 hours.
Yeah,
Hollow Knight.
Well, at least Hollow Knight bosses are fast. This game kind of takes from Castlevania, where it has these spongy bosses. So that's part of why chapter routing is important. Because certain bosses end up having like a ton more HP at higher chapters. And yeah.
So we haven't mentioned this yet, but if you notice, I'm not really doing that double dodge on the ground as much now. I'm doing a double jump because we got the double jump ability from the first boss, and I'm doing a dive. And if you also pay attention to the bottom left, you see that my inventory is constantly swapping whenever I do that. It resets the cooldown of pretty much everything. That's going to come really in handy later when we have another ability. One that lets us dash. Oh, I tried to get the damage boost off of him, even though I'm dying.
It's alright. There's a bench coming up.
So this is going to be the first bench of the game that we take. Pretty simple bench. We're going to add one spirit, and we're going to add a relic. If you want to explain what relics are.
Yeah, so the spirits he explained are the weapons, and the relics are like the equipable items that buff stuff. The thing he just equipped is Menissa's Ring, which gives him a little bit more, basically mana or PP if you play Pokemon per attack. And now you can see he's using Sigrid to cancel those dives instead of, you know, just landing on the ground. It's a little bit faster to cancel it in the air.
Yeah, what's interesting is like the overall time save is really big, but the micro time save from it is actually really, really small. Like we're not even talking like a quarter of a second when you do that stuff, but it adds up really quickly because you're constantly moving. I thought that was gonna hit me. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I just thought it was gonna hit me. That's actually a frame perfect trick, and it's really hard to do, so I'm kind of happy that I did that.
Yeah, that was nice.
So I did mention that we swap our inventory around when I'm doing movement. We also do that in combat. So if you pay attention, you'll see that I swap every time I finish 3 slashes of Umbral. It's because, once again, it just cancels the cooldown, so you're able to do more damage more quickly. Obviously, quick is good. So we haven't done this yet, but we have Return to Respite. It's our free warp back to the last bench that we used. Really, really convenient for fast travel and also emergency situations where you're going to die. We're hopefully not going to have any of those.
Yeah. Also, any room that has a bench in it that you've been in, even for a second, the bench is unlocked to warp to.
Which you'll see that later as well. You'll see me enter a couple of rooms where I don't actually sit on the bench, but you'll see me warp back to them later. That's a slightly tight jump to make. It's not too hard, but you can miss it. I'd say it's got like a few pixels of wiggle room. I'm trying to be a little careful with how many spirits I use here because I want to make sure I have enough for the boss coming up because I am not going to sit on another bench prior to any of this. Now this room is probably like the biggest room we've been in so far. My water jumps just don't want to cooperate right now. There we go. So if you do it right, when you get on the edge of the water, you can actually jump so you don't like slowly swim around. If you do it even better, you can do your dives and then resume your jumps. It's a really tough trick. I am not very consistent at it.
I don't know how they do it.
It's mostly the Japanese runners I see do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, that was not the direction.
So if you do that right, you can hit the switch from there, which is actually a really tight window. I obviously did not get it because, you know...
Turning around is the hardest trick in any video game.
If you get out of the water like that and then dodge into it, it's actually the fastest way you can move up there until you get swim. Funny enough, we're going through all of this water stuff, and the boss we're about to face, you know, in true Metroidvania fashion, is going to be the one that allows you to swim.
Yeah. This boss is really cool. She's basically the fall damage tutorial. So enemies and bosses all take fall damage, but we don't take fall damage. So what he's going to be trying to do in this fight is trying to hit her stagger meter down while she's really high in the air to get as much damage as possible. And you can see she has 2 health bars. I don't know if we've talked about that mechanic yet. But the one at the top is the actual health bar, and then the one at the bottom is her stagger meter.
This is a really strange set of patterns we're getting here. She's completely random, so like there's no comfortable pattern on her. Aw, no.
Oh.
Unlucky. I lost the coin flip.
Teleports behind you.
So I'm trying not to lower her health too much, because if you get her stun meter in a good position to start the 3rd phase, which we just got, that's
Perfect.
Good. So fall damage works in percentages based on how high they fall. This is the highest an enemy can go, is where she is right there. That's 10 whole % of her health. It's really significant.
Yeah, getting that drop is huge.
All right, not bad. There's a little visual thing. If you see the end of her cape, if you put your foot there, you don't have to do any movement for the cutscene. It's the most ridiculous optimization that I've ever made. There's like tiny visual cues here and there for like where to stand so you don't take extra steps in the cutscene and waste your time. So we're going to make a quick detour, and then after that detour, I'm actually going to do one of the first major skips of this game. It is definitely a sequence break, but it isn't a glitch. It's just kind of taking advantage of the mechanics of how the spirits interact with each other. As you can tell, I got rid of Floral, which was my B input, for Aline's power now, and that's actually going to help us with the skip. But we're first going to get a couple of items here because there's really not a better time to do it. There's another time we can do it, but we kind of need the Chain of Sorcery now, if you want to explain what those do.
Yeah, so if you played Hollow Knight, Chains of Sorcery are basically like the charm notches. They increase the amount of relics that you can equip. That's pretty much it. In 100%, we need certain relics, so we have to get as many early as we can. There's a couple that are really, really good and help save a ton of time later.
If you notice, even though I do have the double jump for faster movement, these birds are very random, so it's a lot safer to do the double flop. Now here's the trick. So you jump, you spam a couple of abilities, you do it again, and you make a jump that you have no business making until you beat a boss called Silva. Silva, on a regular playthrough, is the 4th boss that you fight. She's going to be the 5th boss for us. We're going to a boss that is not meant to be reached yet.
Yeah, actually, the area that we're going to is where you get the first ending of the game. So there's 3 endings. The first ending would be any percent, and we're not going to get that, obviously, and that's the bad ending. And then there's ending B, which we usually see in like all spirits, but we're going to be getting the final true ending in this category. So we're going to have to go into that final room, but that's going to be all later.
You might notice that some of my swimming looks a little janky, like I'll approach things at some weird angles, like right here. So as mentioned before, I'm in an older patch, and the geometry of the older patch is actually kind of bad. You don't get permanently stuck, but I'll show it off here.
I get so nervous.
Oh, never mind. I won't show it off there because I was a little too high. But you can get stuck on the corners, and it just little time waste.
So you're not flipping the inventory for this, so you're heel swimming.
Yep.
Yeah, because you can cancel your swim with heel instead of with the inventory underwater.
Oops. A little early there. All right, so if there's ever a place that we're going to die in this run, most likely, it's going to be here, which is why the estimate is a little more generous than what my time actually is, because this is a very high-level area, and we are very low-level. I'm surprised it didn't hit me. And then, on top of everything else, the boss we're going to fight, his name is Haenir. It's spelled like Honir, but it is Haenir, as we've learned from pronunciation school. Yeah. And really low health boss. So you would think, okay, not too hard, but he has the distinction of spawning additional enemies. And also he's very agile. So he's actually one of the most annoying bosses and arguably one of the hardest, depending on what category you're doing. And especially in a category like this, usually you're intended to have a better dodge mechanic by now. You're also intended to have Last Rites, which is essentially an ultimate ability for your main spirits, which we obviously don't have right now. That's unlucky.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this whole room is just the worst. Literally the worst room in the game.
Yeah, so we have to grab an item up here, which takes a lot of work to get. And then we have one more elevator to go up to that we affectionately refer to as Hellevator. There's also sometimes you can grab items while falling. It saves a little bit of time, but
yeah. So that guy right there, as long as he doesn't get on the elevator, we're good.
Okay.
Nice.
I didn't have to show how bad it is. So in older patches like the one I'm running, those guys can teleport onto the elevator and stay on the elevator.
And they just don't despawn and they don't leave it. It's the worst.
Okay, good. First try.
Nice.
We used a damage boost to get an item that's behind that enemy, especially because of how early we are, like being in this area. There's no good way to fight that enemy. Absolutely none. Yeah. So the fact that you get damage boost that is really, really important.
Those big green enemies are huge damage sponges without your ultimate ability. There actually was another one that's hiding an item in the elevator room, but we're getting that one later too because of the fact that it's just too difficult to kill.
Sometimes the AI can sense that you're going to go a different direction, so sometimes that skeleton will swing to the right even though you're not on the right yet. Also, this is really low spirit count.
Oh, you don't get that Chain of Sorcery?
Nope.
Okay.
That
wait,
is...
you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a later thing.
Yeah.
That's a future me problem. So
yeah.
past me is going to be like, yeah, this is easy. Then future me is like, why are you not doing this?
I'm learning things.
Yeah. This is really scary. So, avoiding these enemies is a lot easier when you have the upgraded dodge. It is scary when you don't. Alright, so let's see what we got going here. I'm going to equip that. We have our Executioner gloves, which I'm sure you'd love to tell people about that.
Yeah, Executioner gloves. Whenever I first started routing 100%, I was like, hey, everyone, it's such a good item, and everyone just slept on it. And it's actually really good, turns out. Who would have thought? But yeah, it's basically like if you play Dark Souls, it's kind of like Lloyd's Ring. It increases your damage when you're at full health. So that's going to give us huge damage boost throughout the entire rest of the run. Getting that early is a huge deal.
Kind of want to get fall damage on him, but it's really hard. There we go.
Nice.
No, so close.
Yeah, see, he's hoppy.
He's actually such a hard boss that he's actually nerfed in every patch after this one.
What exactly did they do? I know the ads have less range.
His kunai are also shorter range.
Okay.
So you don't have to do the jumping that I do. Once he starts attacking you in every other patch except this one, you can still just spam a lean, but on this patch, you have to jump, otherwise he reaches you.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
It seems like that spacing is kind of keeping him in the idle animation until you're ready to set up the drop. Is that what you're going for?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oops. Aw. Sorry for the lack of talking here. This is a very hard fight.
I mean, there's not really a whole lot to even say. You lost the buff, but that's really good.
We are 30 seconds ahead of record.
That positioning is fantastic.
That's how good this fight was. And we have to go to the right, so him dying here is actually really good as well. That was a gold by 26 seconds.
Wow.
What? That was such a fantastic fight.
I believe in you.
Wow.
Yeah, so this boss gave us Hook, which is going to allow us to latch onto those little things on the ceiling and let you do really dumb movement and really dumb skips like this one right here. Beautiful.
I didn't deserve that. That was so low.
Nah, you had it.
So this is how you get to ending A from this area, but we're not doing that, so...
Yeah, we're gonna come from a different direction.
Oops. Oh. Had to remember where to go. And I went to the wrong place.
Oh.
Okay, you know,
well,
it's still record. Not that that's what matters, folks, but it's just kind of a neat thing to keep in mind. So now that we have Hook, we have a lot more access to a lot of other areas, like the top of his projectiles instead of the bottom.
New and exciting ways to get injured.
Yeah. All right. So you're going to see a lot of this where we backtrack to older areas, obviously, because, you know, we're getting new abilities as we go along. Oh, heck. Why would you hook the bottom?
Neat thing about the hook is that it refreshes all of your other movement abilities. So, like, you can dash into hook, into dash into hook. And that's used in a couple of skips. Not in this particular run, but in the game in general. Like, if you were to look at an 80% current patch run, for example.
Only lost 6 seconds despite all of that. You know, I'll take it. So now we're going back to a room we were in earlier again. We couldn't access the other half of this room because we couldn't swim. Also, those floating mushrooms are kind of jerks when it comes to movement, which is why you saw me taking it kind of low. This is all stuff that with mine and Emre's original route, we didn't do for a long time. And then we found the usefulness of a relic that I already picked up called the Spellbound Anklet, and it increases your movement speed a lot. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not too noticeable when you walk, and it's definitely not noticeable when you dash, but when you get the final movement in the game, it's night and day how much faster you move. Then we grab one more item here, because there really isn't any other time to do it.
Oh, you don't do it before the left room there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because the Return to Respite's a little faster to do.
Okay. See, I was using that to farm the
Oh, so it ends up being faster to go around, even with the skip.
Okay.
Because the item all the way to the bottom right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hondo's changed a little bit since I've been it, so...
No, it's good to know someone that knew the old route, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we can do this now.
Yeah, the stupidest movement I've ever seen in any Metroidvania.
What do you mean?
She's a dolphin. She's a beach dolphin.
I don't see anything wrong. I don't see anything wrong. That looks like normal normal Metroidvania movement to me. If you haven't noticed yet, anytime I get an item that's in a box or a pot, I will spam a spirit on it, and then I'll be able to pick it up immediately. Really, really good minor time save that adds up because, you know, 100% you're picking up a ton of items. Oh, where's the hook? No, there it is. It's my favorite movement in the game.
You were so slow for like 2 seconds.
This is definitely not intended to get early, even with hook. They expect you to have another ability. Oh, okay. We're just going down, I guess.
Sure. All spirits movement.
Yeah! On the topic of other categories, it's really, really interesting just how much a lot of the stuff that I'm doing right now is actually slower in other categories. For example, you don't run into Haynir in ending B, and you delay him all the way to the end in ending C on this patch, but you do him as early as you do in this run in the newer patches. Like it's really like strange changes to the meta. I say meta like this is like a like Dota or something. You're gonna see me not spam my abilities too much from here on out. I might spam a couple here and there. We're not taking another bench for a while, and that includes the boss that's coming up, Garrod. Garrod, I would argue that Garrod was probably everyone's worst boss casually.
Yeah.
Besides maybe like some Aline, some Olv.
He's like the chunkiest boss.
Absolutely.
He's the tank. He's slow but heavy. You know, he's one of those. So he's one of the bosses that whenever we were originally routing and considering chapters, like it was kind of difficult because it's like he gets so much HP between level 2 and level 3, but doing Haynir before it just does end up being faster. And you have so many good abilities, and with fall damage, if Keys can pull those off, is going to end up being worth it.
And to emphasize even more just how much of a sponge he is, as mentioned before, there's a chapter system in this. So we are currently in Chapter 4. Garrod, you sometimes fight Chapter 2 or Chapter 3 in other categories, just to kind of emphasize the shift in health. A Chapter 2 Garrod is roughly like 12,000 health or something like that. The Chapter 4 Garrett we're about to fight is roughly 26,000. It is more than double. So chapter routing becomes really, really important, and you have to weigh the pros and cons. But getting Hurley Hook in 100% and getting all those items to stop a lot of backtracking later is so fast that it ends up being worth having a slower fight.
Yeah, see, whenever he does that jump there, that's when Keys is going to be trying to line up to hit his stagger meter down. Nice.
I'm also going to be trying really hard not to take damage. Oh, it sucks. Yeah, we're not going to get a good stagger, but that's okay. Just because we have the Executioner gloves. What? What are you doing?
That was early.
Yeah, it was.
Garrett, what are you doing? Calm down, sir. This is a Wendy's.
You also might notice me do a lot of jumps when his stun meter is low. You actually do less stun damage. Oh no! I didn't want to attack again. You actually do less damage with aerial attacks, both in terms of stun meter and in terms of like overall damage. So it's kind of like a way to like still get DPS without accidentally ruining your fall damage. All right, so this is a little bit of a slower fight, unfortunately, because of that.
Yeah, there were like 2 falls you missed. You can see how much the fall damage does compared to look how little the sword is doing. It's so frail. Phase 3 is a little bit easier to get drops because he tends to do these jumps in 3s. Usually.
Usually.
He can decide he doesn't want to play by the rules. One more drop and you're good. Nice.
All right, not too bad a fight. Not too bad of a fight. We would have saved a little more time if I didn't accidentally hit him one more time. This game did what I like to call Dark Soulsing me, and if you play Dark Souls at all, you'll probably totally understand what I mean. Once you put the input in, for the most part, that's your fate. So even if you don't want to heal, but you started it up, it's gonna start up. Like, so I swung early. I didn't want to swing, but the game's like, oh, hey, no, you did that.
You pressed the button.
We got you. It's like, no, don't get me now. Get me later. But yeah, because of Hook, we're able to get up here a lot faster than normal, which means we can get this set of items down here that require a nutty jump. So there's you're gonna see it with horizontal walls too, but the floors. There's 2 thicknesses for the floors. That one was double thick, and this one's just normal thick. So each of the abilities, for the most part, have like a short version and a long version of them. So Slam, which is what we just got, that allows us to go through the floor. Slam, if you're in the air long enough while doing the slam, then you can do more slam damage, essentially. This one looks big, but it's thin, so we don't need to jump high, for example. Slam also has an interesting characteristic where you can cancel it, which I messed that up.
This is really interesting routing. This is new to me. We used to do this a lot later in the route. Because whenever I routed it, we didn't know about the slam cancels for extra height, and we also didn't know about bird skip, because the skip that he did to get to the area with the mines, it used to be way harder and absurd.
It used to be you had the damage boost off of a bird, which is why it was called bird skip, and it was not a consistent thing at all.
Yeah.
Then I can't remember who. I wish I remembered who it was that came up with it, but bird skip skips the bird skip while still skipping. Therefore, bird skip. We're speedrunners. We don't come up with good names for tricks.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. You've seen me do this a couple of times already, but if you're in mid-dive like that, you can make yourself upright so you can grab stuff.
That guy's such a pal. He tries to hurt you, but he gives you help.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy. You see me do the double flops there because there really isn't enough space to get full double jumps. Gotta wait for him to blow up sometimes.
That was sketchy.
He's rude. So now we're in an area called the Catacombs, which, you know, every good light horror / Metroidvania has to have something like this. We just picked up an item called the Fredia's Ring. Spoiler for the story, Fredia is your mother, or yeah, mother in quotes. But the Fredia's Ring is actually both the most annoying relic on the planet and also one of the best relics on the planet. So that's how you get to parry. It pretty much, like, it's an equipable ability, essentially. Like, you get to parry attacks now. Parrying is actually kind of not too great when you're working on movement, because sometimes you're trying to hit dash, and dash and parry are the same button. So sometimes you'll just accidentally activate the parry when you don't want to at all. Yeah.
But the parry allows us to do a lot of neat stuff. It's used in skips, and most importantly is used in this boss fight in pretty much every single category that fights her. Boss we're about to go to in a little bit is related to our first boss friend.
Actually sisters.
Literally sisters.
Now we do that because we, like mentioned before, we entered a room with a bench. You can tell if you look at the room on the top right on the map there and see the green diamond shape. You can't see it anymore, but
oh, this is my favorite. Oh, they didn't do it. They didn't explode. I love whenever you grab that item, but like it's like you're not looking back at the explosion because you're so cool. Because you have your iframes from your item pickup.
Cool guys don't look at explosions. But yeah, as Emre was alluding to, the Fredia's Ring is going to be super duper useful for the next boss we beat, because it's actually going to help us juggle. From downtown, the spider throws a projectile at me when we don't even see it on screen. What a legend. This is probably one of the most awkward rooms in this run, I would say, because there really isn't a fast way to do any of what I'm doing. So there's an item to the left, or to the right, excuse me, and there's a lever to pull on the left, which unlocks this secret passage to get one item. And then I have to either teleport out or climb back up. And, you know, honestly, the jury's still out on whether, I did that wrong, whether it's faster to delay this or do it now. I certainly haven't accurately timed it, but it's a menace nonetheless.
Yeah. This is still from my original route, right? Yep. Yeah, like I didn't time it. It's just like I went through the route and I was like, you know, this feels faster. You ever just do that?
Yeah.
Like, who times things, right? But I mean, it's difficult to time because there's so many different branching paths that you have to do. This is not the intended way, obviously, to go through this. He did a skip.
Yeah.
Did you even mention spiders?
No, I didn't. We were just too busy talking.
Did it.
So yeah, you saw me bounce off a spider earlier. We're not supposed to be in this area, but I took advantage of a damage boost. It's not too hard of a damage boost to do, and funny enough, the Asian-based runners that do this game do it completely differently than me.
Yeah, they do it off of the first spider, which is wild. I don't understand it. It looks like it should be easier doing it their way, but I'm just so used to this. I feel like it looks like it's harder because you're coming from a farther away damage boost.
Well, thank you.
Spooky. These enemies are not being nice.
No, they are not.
Yeah, we're almost done here anyway. I think there's just one more item to grab.
Mm-hmm.
So the item that he picked up from behind the thing that was under the gate, under the water, that was the Ancient Souls. That's the first Ancient Souls we're going to get. And that's the only item that can be used to enhance specifically your Umbral Knight. Every other spirit you have in the game can be enhanced with the other two different types of light, but you need Ancient Souls for this. And he's gonna get an extra swing that's gonna allow him to do this boss a lot easier.
Before we go to the boss, though, we've been hyping up bosses, but before we do that boss, we're gonna do a different boss.
I didn't even know that this was
I didn't want to tell you because this is funny.
I was so excited. We were like, yeah, Fredia's Ring, spider skip. Wait, where are you going? We're
beating up this slug. All right, we beat up the slug.
Easy. There was a boss?
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna try really hard to... Speedrunner.
If you were behind, I would tell you to give me the controller.
Yeah, so this is why we delayed this enemy, because there's just a chain of sorcery you can't get without slam. But now we're gonna do the boss that we were talking about. I promise.
Finally.
Finally. I forgot how to get there.
Oh, you already did the upgrades?
Yeah.
Okay. Neat. Oh, you get that now too.
Mm-hmm. It ended up being about the same, so just to me personally, it made a little more sense to just get rid of it now.
Yeah.
Because if I forget now, then I can get it later when we come back. But if I forget later on the first time, then it really doesn't matter anymore, and I'm sad.
All right, so this is Silva. Silva is basically the exact same boss as Sigrid, but way harder. And she has a lot more moves and a lot more phases. And Keiz is going to be trying to stun lock her, starting with a parry, which takes out her stagger meter, and then just keeping her airborne. As long as she doesn't touch the ground, we can just tick her damage away like this. Carefully switching between the Sigrid and Umbral inputs. And that's why we needed that extra hit.
Yeah, there's a way to do this with a lower Umbral, but it's not as clean, and it's a lot riskier because there's a lot more inputs involved.
Yeah, it uses floral too, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and you really want your florals for the next phase so that you can get drops.
You're gonna see how wonky hitboxes are in this game.
Yeah, so that is what Silva's ultimate ability looks like. So we're gonna start getting those from bosses.
No, I was slow. I was going for fall damage.
Nice. I always get so scared whenever you're gonna drop her at the ult, because like I don't realize.
Oh.
Like I have faith in you, but it scares me anyway. Oh.
That is the worst spot she could die.
She's facing left on the farthest left side of the screen.
That's rude.
We're also going to get to see one of the main reasons that this particular patch is the patch that we run on. So this was 103. This was like the patch almost immediately after release, so it still had a handful of bugs. And this one allows you to cancel your dash with your inventory, which you can't do on any other patch beyond this.
Now, fun fact, we refer to it as dash because obviously we're dashing forward, but it's actually called Guardian Wings, and there's a different ability called dash later.
Yeah, there's two different dashes.
I already upgraded you. Very good. So this is a little different from when you routed it because we have hook early, so we actually do this area early.
Yeah, we used to do this like in Final Cleanup.
We basically eliminate everything except the unlock area of this early because we have the necessary tools.
Yeah. Having hook early changes so much stuff. Like casually you would not have hook this early.
You can't choose where your hook goes if that hasn't been made clear yet. Yeah, this dash is ridiculously fast. I think it's actually technically faster than your final movement, but it's so input heavy. And then once you have the Spellbound Anklet I was talking about doesn't actually affect this dash, whereas your final dash it does. So it narrowly is faster to use the final form of movement.
So that was a lean. There was a mini boss there, but now there isn't. That's another reason that we run on the 100 patches, the 103 and 106 patches, because Eileen was really good. Each of her orbs, she shoots like what, 10, and they all do like a ton per.
Mm-hmm. Please.
So you can just like tank boss's health. So boss fights are gonna get a little bit faster now.
You're also going to see me be a little riskier because of the... Oh, come on. Because of the... So my hook button and my interact button are the same. You can change that, but like those were the buttons that made the most sense in my head. So sometimes we have interactions like that, where it's like I'm very clearly trying to pick up something, and the game's like, you want a hook? And I'm like, no, please.
Oh, heck. We're still trying to stay at full health, right?
We'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, heck indeed.
Yeah. This is another spirit that's actually going to be really useful in the run. You can probably explain Archer better than me, because you're the one who...
Ow! Ow! What are you doing?
No!
Oh.
Oh, heck. You're the one who drew the fancy
No, come
diagram.
back. That is the worst Archer fight I've had in my life. So, the way that Archer's ability works when you use it is the arrows that he shoots, I think it's like 8 or 10, actually spawn behind you. So if you're hugging an enemy, you'll hit with every single arrow, even though the spread wouldn't indicate otherwise.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily damage. It's kind of like Floral, where it does a ton to the stun meter.
It also gives you a lot of SP, which is the spirit progression bar at the bottom that allows you to do ultimates. Well. That'll do.
Yeah, remember when I said those big enemies were sponges? Yeah.
They're not sponges when you shove a lean inside them. No!
Please, game.
Just let me grab my item.
I think they did in later patches fix that interaction.
Quote unquote.
Versus hook. They're supposed to prioritize the higher hook or something.
That's a lie.
Something like that.
I have so many current patch runs. Yeah, allegedly. All right. So now we're going to an area called Twin Spires. It's also affectionately referred to as Olv's Castle, because that's the next big boss we get. If you like being able to climb on walls and stuff, this is the boss for you. He gives you Claw, which lets you climb walls. You can tell I really practice this commentary.
You don't have to practice.
This is also the second hardest area in the game that isn't the final area. And I only say that because we've already done Stockade. In other categories that you don't do Stockade early, this is outright the hardest area, besides the final area.
Yeah, there's a lot of giant, well, they're like that, giant enemies that like to get in your way here. Movement is very precise. Like, as long as he doesn't slow down and does all the movement correctly, usually it's fine. But might need to use, you know, a floral like that or an ult to try to get them off of his back. He hit a lever there. You couldn't see it because it was behind the boxes, but we're going to need that open for later for another item that we don't have the ability to get yet. Are we going to do the skip?
No.
Here. Okay.
Not in this category.
Okay.
Leave me alone! This is why iframes are great.
So, one of the spirits he put on was Garrett, and Garrett is not a good spirit, generally speaking, but he's extremely useful in this particular part of the map because he can hit things through walls with his ult, and his ult is huge. It's a giant spear.
I'm gonna take the safety heal. This place is dangerous. There's dragons.
Literal
There are dragons here. Yeah, the neat thing about this game is, you know, like some other Metroidvanias, your attacks can actually contribute to your movement. So I have a couple of spirits equipped right now. I have both Silva and Garrett. And they help with some of the skips, and they help with some movement. Because we can hit some switches that are just out of range with these abilities. Garrett specifically needs his ultimate, but Silva, I just use a charge attack. Silva's one of the spirits that you can actually continue to hold the attack button and get a different action out of it. Yeah. I guess in this case it's a similar action.
It kind of air stalls you and gives you a little bit of height off of the back end, and it's also bigger than her base attack.
So like we're gonna hit a switch here. That's very far away, but that is how far her range is. Weird quirk here where we can hit the switch here if we do an attack.
And here's our first Garrett ult coming up. It's the only time he's useful.
He has one more time. But yeah, pretty much just his castle. There are some people, and I understand completely, like from a casual standpoint, he hits like a truck and he does fantastic stun damage, but his DPS overall is extremely low and typically isn't worth it in a speedrun setting. There are some faster categories that can utilize him for actual fights, but it's not very often. Also, I do slower dashing there because there's kind of a rhythm to dodging their axes.
Yeah, there's a couple of spots like that in this castle that I think is really neat, where like positioning matters a lot. I love the speed tech in this game. I think it's underrated.
So that thing that I just equipped is called Ricorous Ring, and if you look at the bottom left, I now have 2 meters. Outright the best relic in the game, like hands down, bar none. Having 2 ultimates available is nutty good for any sort of fast anything, no matter what the category is. You actually go out of your way to get it in the any percent B ending category, because it just, even though it is a 20-second detour, it saves more than 20 seconds in fights. So we are in Hellevator Part 2. It's not quite as obnoxious, but it's basically a loading screen, let's be honest.
Yeah. So we have to wait on the elevator up to a certain point. You can climb faster, but it's a lot harder and not really worth the effort. Most of the enemies die to fall damage like that.
No!
What?
Aw.
What happened?
It didn't grab the ledge. There's an item here, which is a bummer. So that wasn't the greatest elevator, but we didn't get hit. Aw, man.
Why did you say words?
I was trying to show that off. If you do this movement fast enough, you don't get hit by that at all. I was trying to show it off.
You were like, I didn't get hit. Gets burnt too.
Listen. Dragons are friends until they're not. Oh, okay. Okay. Get me out of here!
Oh, he also hit a switch through the floor to open this door. That was another skip that kind of got glazed over. We basically went through this castle without ever going through it the correct way.
Oh, absolutely. And then I want to upgrade some things here.
Yeah, that way our spirits do a little bit more damage and a little bit more ticks. I think like Floral gets bigger or something. Like they all have different like benefits.
Oh, I didn't dodge.
Yeah, so having full health for the Executioner gloves for Aline really, really adds up compared to, you know, Umbral, like it was before. Like, it's really important at this point to stay full health. And you'll see he's trying to, like, be inside of the boss whenever he uses it. That way as many orbs as possible get soaked right up. Use an ult there to dodge ults. Because normally that's an AoE on the ground.
Not a bad
really
fight.
Good fight, yeah.
Other than that initial hit, where he's just like, I'm coming for you. Yeah, as mentioned, a lot of times you'll see, even if I only lose like maybe 5 to 10% of my health, I'll still take the time to heal, because in this patch, Executioner Gloves is 10% extra damage. Now, the benefit if you're running current patches is it's actually buffed to 17.5%. That is absurd.
Yeah.
And an Aline is not good anymore, so that is absurd in a different way.
Yeah, but Aline is doing like hundreds of damage points, so 10% on top of that is definitely worth it. See right here, specific positioning to try to avoid as many of those as possible. Oh no, we need to stop talking.
The axe did it to me.
This is one of my favorite iframes from grabbing an item, because those enemies will kill you from full health.
So a lot of what I'm doing right here is stuff that you've seen before, because like a lot of it is similar to your route, but there's going to be like a couple of minor changes to it.
Yeah. Well, we would be grabbing the Rickers ring here in my route. So, because where we're going right now, we're going to fall down the entire right side of the castle, because there's, for some reason, items scattered along the entire thing. And this is where the Rickers ring was. He's going to fall
interesting
back down
enough,
there.
I'm going to fall back down here, even though we have the ring, because there's a room over here down and to the right that we didn't access yet, and it makes more sense in terms of like quickness to access the room now, because we're going to teleport back to the other respite we were just at to continue picking up items. This used to be kind of like you'd go in here to get the item obviously, but also use it as an emergency bench. So it's also kind of a combination of like increasing risk for reward. What? Sir?
I mean, you went in the right direction, so it's fine. Excellent. So
Okay,
you have a
I'll take
setup
and
for
do
this, right?
Yes.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I did that once, and I was like, oh my goodness, you can do this, and Keys found a consistent setup for it.
Consistent, but my PB doesn't have it because I
Oh,
messed
no.
it up.
Yeah, just lets you move a little bit farther.
All right. We haven't seen any of these yet, but there's Big Blight, which we never explained what Blight was. So there's Furious Blight, Stagnant Blight, and like we got the Ancient Souls, which you mentioned before. Blight is the way that you RPG this game, essentially. Like you level up your stuff with the Blight. Stagnant's for sub-spirits. Furious is for main spirits. I really don't want to get hit by you, so I'm just going to stall that out. Well...
It worked.
And they come in 10, 30, 100, and 800. And usually 800 has that big, like, statue thing behind it. The obelisk or whatever.
Yeah. And you're not limited. We picked up Blight already throughout the run from barrels and enemies and things like that. So you're not really capped. It's just, for some reason, those are collectible items that the game requires to be 100%. And they're useful for upgrading our lower level spirits.
If he hit me, I would have been so upset.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a jerk.
Yeah, this boss is a bully, but that was good. You still got a really good Aline.
That's not an Aline you get too often. Any boss that is movement heavy like that can be really hard to get like good lineups for knocking them out. Okay, I don't know why I paused. Hooks. I'm actually going to take an emergency bench here. We have plenty of health and we have 2 healing, but we're not taking a bench for a while. Marathon setting, obviously not a big deal to lose a little bit of time. Sitting on a bench, even for a heal or a replenish of any sort of resource, is about 4 seconds. That's kind of a good example of how Archer works. I was very clearly past him, but since it spawns behind you.
Yeah.
And if you do that to an enemy, you pretty much get a full... oh, that was in front of a shield.
Oh.
You get a full charge of your spirits.
Yeah, so these are required arenas. There were supposed to be some in the other castle, but that was one of the things we lever skipped past. But this ended up being faster, I think, to go through these arenas because of having Aline and all these other upgraded spirits than it would be to come through the castle from the other direction. Because there's a couple of different ways that you can get to the castle. Like a typical well-done Metroidvania, there's no right or wrong way to get to a certain place, so there's a lot of options in terms of routing.
That room is where I died in my PB, so we're over a minute ahead.
Oh, that room?
Yeah! Now you understand why it upset me. It ate my input.
That's... oh no.
Yep. So if you noticed, you'll see me, like when I have hooks like that, you'll see me do the dash version of that belly flop dolphin thing I was doing before. I like shake my body because I don't know how else to describe it. Oh. Please. Didn't mean to jump, but alas. He's probably the most annoying of the enemies to fight for these arenas.
Yeah, a common theme with the enemies in this area is that most of them have shields, or at least all the big ones have shields. And if you hit them in the front, they don't take damage. Or they take very little damage.
Normally, you would enter this room and exit just to unlock the bench. We took a lot of damage. Once again, I'm just going to take a safety bench. I would dare not do this in a real attempt, but it's a lot of time lost if we die here. So doing that is really important because below us is another arena. As you saw, like the one purple mushroom, there's just kind of there, like, hey, I'm waiting for the fight. And we're going to do another skip here. I'm going to try to do it a little risky just for the people.
Beautiful.
There we go.
Yeah, so you're supposed to have, like, approached the thing from different sides and then falling down between each one, but, yeah, we don't need to do that.
This is so much nicer in this category than in ending EB. Ending B, you have to do a lot of stuff to get that health, and the health is really, really important in ending B. There's an area later on that there's a fog that can damage you, and there is a relic that reduces the damage by 90%, but you don't get that in that ending because it's too far out of the way. So health is at an absolute premium.
Getting rid of him. There's another Giga Blight up here that we gotta go collect.
Normally you would use Ulv to help you with the horizontal movement of this, but I don't want him in my inventory because I'm going to be taking him out immediately anyway, so I found a way to do it without having to constantly... Hello! Okay, so if you don't dodge well enough in that area, then you can't dodge his attack no matter what you do. Yet again, another safety bench, but this one is one that I normally take anyway.
Yeah, this one is necessary. The next two bosses are kind of brutal.
So this room in a randomizer is called Christmas Room. There are 11 checks here. There are 10 stagnant blight times 10s, and then a boss. It's absurd. They didn't put it in one convenient 100 item, which exists in this game. Good start. Really good.
Yeah, that's about as good as you can get for this boss.
Outstanding fight.
Yeah.
He can troll you so hard.
If you move even a little bit wrong, he's just gonna eat your whole Aline.
And then you take damage.
Yeah.
He's just like, shield, bleh. And you're just like, oh no. The best part is 9 of them are on the ground. The 10th one's up here. I missed this casually for a while. Because I was like, they wouldn't do that. They did.
They sure did.
All right, this boss is a boss.
Yeah. So he has a shield in phases 1 and 2. He has 3 phases. And he starts using his ult ability in the 3rd phase, like most bosses do. There's really no way to drop him, but there is a way to get better damage. So whenever you use Aline directly on top of an enemy, you can get something called tracking, which means that your orbs won't go out in like a perfect circle like they're supposed to. They're going to try to aim downward or towards the enemy. And he's going to try to get tracking. That way he can hit him with a lean from really far away, because Julius is a little bit too low.
There it is.
Nice, first try.
First try.
Yeah, Julius is a little bit too low to like stand on top of and a lean like that, so we have to get a little creative. Like that.
And if you notice, every projectile was 557 damage.
Yeah, it's absurd.
This fight's going fantastically. I said something.
I was doing my best to don't. It's alright, he's in phase 3 now, so it's a heal opportunity.
The nice thing about phase 3 is he does not have shield capabilities anymore.
Yeah, so he doesn't have to like dash behind him in order to attack. And this is his ult ability, so we can ult him from far away here because he's stuck.
Phenomenal fight.
That is
fastest fight I've ever had.
Nutty gold.
That is 20 seconds fast. That was a phenomenal fight. That was
job, baby.
first try tracking, and then everything went good other than we haven't been hit yet. Hey.
Idiot.
I gotta tempt fate sometime. So in some categories, you actually wouldn't beat him this fast because you'd want to have another one of your ultimates built up. Oh, I forgot to pick this up.
Yeah, I thought you did that on purpose. I
Nope.
wasn't going to say anything. If you forget something, I'll say it.
Okay. Yeah.
What were you saying?
Yeah, so you want to save ultimate because you actually equip Julius and then use him for a skip. But that is not this category, thank goodness. So I can kill him a lot faster.
Yeah, so this is the other ability. That was one of those double walls that Keys was talking about. They have the single walls and the double walls, like they have the single floors and double floors. A couple of those are a little bit finicky. Julius's ability is probably one of the most finicky things in terms of movement. But this is the actual dash that we call the dash.
Notice how much easier that is. Because the dash obviously gives you not only a faster horizontal movement, but just further horizontal movement.
Yeah, like a lot of momentum.
So now we finally drop down here. Like the game intended. We're gonna pick this item up right behind him, like the game did not intend. We're kind of doing a lot of stuff as a cleanup thing right now that in the older route that Emre created was actually kind of you do it now. Or you do it
Yeah,
before.
we like swept the castle and then ended on Julius in the older route. But the main reason that we used to do that is because we used Crown, which is an item I guess you're about to pick up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Decayed Crown is a relic that we used to use in runs. Do we still use it at all?
Yeah, no, actually.
Oh, okay.
Because the damage output of
yeah,
everything is just so high that it's not needed.
yeah. So Decayed Crown is a relic that increases your ability to stagger, and it was really good. It was used in the 100% run for a while.
So we're in the room that we literally just exited out of. It was just faster to do everything that way. And that's kind of the neat thing about this category. You see a lot of ways that like, oh, instead of just staying in this room and doing the extra movement, it's actually faster to delay it and grab it as a like on the way thing for something else. Do you like dogs in chat?
Aww.
I'm sorry.
Any Enya?
Who can say? So the interesting thing, and interesting thing is the monstrous thing about this fight is once you enter the arena, you cannot exit for any boss at all. This dog does not attack you. It literally just doesn't attack you. It is a non-harmful boss, but because you entered the arena for it, you have to fight it.
And it's sad. There's a couple of categories that skip it entirely because you can jump over the arena actually.
Yeah, you jump over the arena with clever usage of both Silva's air dodge and Ulv's charge ability, which gives you a lot of horizontal movement. But
also, if you don't recognize where we are, this is Garrett's village that we are entering from the back direction.
Mm-hmm.
This is what he was guarding.
One right, two down. I have my notes up, I'll be honest. It's a lot to take in, and I actually have some memory problems, so I kind of need the notes.
Understandable. Max percent runs are really impressive.
So we're back in this beginning area because we didn't have Slam before. This is actually a room that in the older route we would clear immediately because we would do Garrett first. For this exact reason, for Slam. But because of the value of oh my goodness, because of the value of getting Hook early and delaying Garrett, this is actually cleanup, which when I first learned this route was a huge adjustment for me because I would accidentally pick up stuff and be like, wait, I don't have to do this. That bench on 100 patches, for some reason, you don't get the animation of like sitting back up. So sometimes you just kind of, you're mashing and you just jump. It's silly. You absolutely need to do that slam cancel to reach the wall. Otherwise, you have to go all the way around.
Wow. Yeah, so remember these enemies and bosses or mini bosses were locked by chapter when he beat Aline.
So they are level 2 and we have made it to chapter 7.
Yeah.
We are kind of strong and he is kind of not.
Poor thing.
You actually fight him as it's the third spirit that you fight in the All Spirits run. Mm-hmm. So it's really interesting to see, because like he's a poison cloud and it actually allows you to break a switch or two switches early, which helps those categories, but it does not help this one. I was kind of doing some mini cleanup in this area because we don't need to come back here otherwise.
Their time for a quick donation?
Absolutely.
All right, we have a $100 donation from Sean D04.
Oh, Sean.
I mispronounced that. Wow, I haven't seen this Pokemon game before. Looks like they added the spirit type. Good luck, Keys.
Thanks, Sean. Sean's one of my biggest supporters on my personal stream, and every time I ever do any sort of charity run, Sean always puts his money where his mouth is and really helps out the cause. So thanks a lot, Sean.
All right. We have there's room for more? Or
Yep.
I can wait. We got a $10 donation from Matt Blade, who says, stumbled across this game shortly before it released because of Millie. Millie's featured on the soundtrack for this game and also made my favorite song in Arcadia. Went in blind expecting nothing and was all the more surprised at how gorgeous the game is. Truly a hidden gem. Thanks for showing it off. All right. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much for your donations.
Absolutely. Also have a $20 donation from Toku Hero. Thank you very much. And we have a $10 donation from Taco Cat saying, huge fan of Keys and Emre. Go team.
That's us.
Yeah.
That's our name.
Yeah, that's you.
All right, so we picked up an item called a stone tablet fragment, and I got to kind of focus a little bit, so I'll let you mention what those are real quick.
Yeah, okay. So stone tablet fragments are basically the key to getting the final true ending C. That's actually the only one that you can get without the final ability of the game. So we're just doing some cleanup right now in the areas that we've been to before we go into the final area. And once we get that final ability, we'll do a little bit more cleanup while getting those final tablets. There's one in every area.
This is one of the few bosses I can't elite, unless I get really lucky with a jump. So Silva's the next best thing there. Silva's ult is actually probably the coolest looking one.
Yeah, it's
like
a shame
genuinely.
she's not as strong.
Yeah.
I mean, she is the first one you get, so.
Mm-hmm. They had to make the first one look nice.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go to. I know that my notes say press right twice, but I know I don't have to. I overcomplicate it. If I press right once, I'm done, but I don't because I'm not used to it. Just a little more cleanup we're doing here. This item I'm about to get is actually one of the most annoying ones to get because there is a sweet spot timing for it.
Yeah, and it's lower than you think it is. You see he like hit the floor there? That's where you want to hit that for some reason. I remember struggling with that so much casually, and then I realized, like, oh, the hitbox is just, like, underground.
And the funny thing about it, too... Oops. Ooh, the good save. The funny thing about it, too, is not only is the hitbox kind of wonky, but the hitbox is slightly displaced depending on if you have the Spellbound Anklet on or not. So, like, I actually do it slightly differently because I have the increased movement, whereas if I didn't have the increased movement, you have to do it slightly later. It's really weird. It makes sense because like it's horizontal momentum you're not getting.
Yeah.
But like it really messes with you, especially when it's like not a good hitbox to begin with.
Yeah, that's. I don't even think they fixed that one.
No, they did not.
Yeah.
So we actually do this in the opposite direction that you used to do it.
Yeah, the cleanup for this area is so different. But it's really neat seeing how much the game has improved. No! What were you stuck on?
103 geometry, baby.
There was like a pebble in the water.
Help me, help me.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, like it's really amazing to see, like, especially with Metroidvanias, because there's so many different ways to approach things, how much a game can evolve in a year.
That was absurd. I was literally stuck on nothing.
It looked like you were stuck on the rock in the background.
It just kind of reached out. So if I do this movement right, it's really cool. And
well.
hello.
Well,
All right, so it's still gonna be cool. It's just not as cool.
yeah, we promise. Okay. These rooms are really neat because they're basically a puzzle between the different types of floors and walls. And if you do it spaced perfectly, it looks really cool. So this one right here is a double wall, so we need a little bit more distance, so we have to go in between those.
And look at how tight that was. If you
Yeah.
look very carefully, you get a spark effect when you get to the second wall break, I guess. That's how I'll describe that. And like I barely get it there. It's really tight. So this is the final area. I just picked up the Heretic's Mask, which is the thing I was talking about earlier that reduces damage from here by 90%. So instead of the water dealing 10 damage per tick, or the fog dealing 10 damage per tick and the water dealing 10 damage per tick, it's going to be 1. Actually, the fog might be 20. No, the water's... Okay, so waterfall is treated like ground, whereas the water's treated like water, I guess. So 2 in the water, 1 on the ground / the waterfalls. Multiply that by 10 if you didn't have the mask. There you go. Thank you. I speak English.
I don't know the numbers at all, so I was just... Whatever you say is correct to me.
So it does 1 billion damage if you're level 1.
Yep.
Sounds right to me.
You got it, Chief.
All right. I scrolled down my notes a little too far, so I had to make sure I wasn't going the wrong place.
Oop.
So yeah, this is where you would normally equip Julius. There's a switch to the left that you can hit with Julius's ultimate, which is actually really, really cool, and the only time you'll ever use Julius, because as cool as Julius is as a boss, and as cool as he is as a character, he is absolutely not good as a fighting spirit. It's really a shame. Though in any %C ending in the current patch, you actually use him against Haynir.
Wild. I didn't know that.
I didn't either until recently, and I was just like, what? Oh, okay.
Wow. Nice. I didn't know you could hit that through the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that opens this door here to this Priestess's Wish. I don't know if we ever explained what those do. They increase the amount that you heal. So some categories actually need to get those.
B and C are the most obvious offenders.
Yeah.
And that's the switch you would normally hit, because we're directly to the left of where the entrance is.
Yeah, this is also supposed to be a timed switch, but we don't follow the rules here in speedrun land. You just go over it. Yeah, it's to lock you out if you don't have dash.
It's still one of my funniest tricks to do. It's like, oh no, I forgot the switch. Whatever will I alley-oop? All right, we're about to see the worst enemy in the game. These have killed many runs.
So they're the most common offender of ways to die in this area. This area is probably the hardest area in the game because of the movement being so precise.
Oops. This one gonna be a little slow here. Don't mind me. Keltius, Ricorous Mask. Ornament. Doll. Holy Water. Okay, no Holy Water. Got it. Oh, I'm not supposed to upgrade things. My bad.
Oops. It's fine. Yeah, and level 6 is max level.
There's a lot of items to get in this area that are in the fog. So getting that mask is really important in this category, besides the fact that it counts towards completion.
Yeah. Even though you have so much health, like, it's actually still very dangerous.
It's dangerous enough to where I actually equipped one of my relics that gives me an extra heal. Like, extra number of heals. So I have 4 instead of 3. You can have up to 6, depending on what your loadout is. Oh, darn. I was like, I haven't been able to pull that off in forever. This is going to be such a cool trick, Stux. So fun fact about this room in current patch, if you go all the way to the left, there's actually a wall you can break, so you don't have to climb back up just to go back down.
Yeah, probably one of the best additions. Oh. Ah, did y'all see how much that fish did? That's why this area is terrifying. And those are the baby fish. They have mama fishes.
The mama fish are angry. Also, if you see the camera shift around a little bit, sorry about that. I am you can change the camera angle using the right joystick, and sometimes I use it just to kind of take a peek early at where I'm going to land, but it is a little disorienting sometimes. I do it a lot more in this area than most other areas, besides the beginning game. There is an emergency bench I can take here, but I'm comfortable with my health for now. We do have 3 heals. We should be fine. Should be. Operative word.
Should be, you know, barring tentacles. And premature wall clings.
Now, even though I didn't take the bench to be safe, for marathon safety, I'm going to unlock that door, because that's the fastest way to get back here. Oh, that thing got disintegrated. Very good. I don't know if anyone noticed when I did this earlier, but I did take off the Executioner gloves, because they essentially become useless in this area.
Yeah, there's no way to beat this game hitless, or damageless rather. You can do it hitless.
Okay, this is a little slow, but because I didn't have enough juice. Oh, I realized what I didn't do. I didn't put Archer on. I was like, where's my other attack? That's fine. That's not going to be like a problem, ideally.
Every time they stand still for long enough, I get nervous. So they have 2 attacks. They can't just he just did it off screen. They have 2 attacks. They don't just do the slap attack. They have an attack where they do like an AoE spike, and that one is really, really hard to dodge.
Yeah, it's recommended that you have ult built, because when you do your last rites, your ults, you get iframes. So that's like about the only way you can guarantee you're not gonna get ganked by it.
Yeah, and it does a lot of damage.
Ooh, hitting my head there almost messed me up.
Yeah.
If we fall there, we have to do a longer climb to the right.
Yeah, that's intended to be like a wall climb puzzle.
No. Ledges are hard.
It's true.
I always double jump because if you miss that, that is an absurd amount of time you lose.
Yeah. I didn't have that confidence when I was running this. Yeah, so that was to get that bench because like I mentioned earlier in the run, we okay, well I guess we're healing. We have to do ending C, and that's going to be the path to ending C. But here we're doing the most annoying boss in the entire run, especially for Keiz, who is partially colorblind. Can't see anything. I can't even see anything, to be honest. But luckily we come in with a lot of ult and kind of can space based on where his health bar is and kill him that way.
To be clear on how hard it is for me to see, if I don't get an initial hit when I first jump in and get his health bar to appear above his head, it's a guessing game until I can hit him.
Yeah, they have improved that on later patches. It's just unfortunate that this is the optimal speedrun patch and it still has that boss fight in it the way that it is.
Mm-hmm. I could have like dove a little earlier there, but I was kind of peeking at my notes to make sure that I was doing the right thing. These items too, I cannot see them. I just memorized the background.
Yeah. There's one more, and we're done underwater. Thank heck.
Oh no.
So right here, he's trying to get to a grapple that's a little bit higher.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, that's huge time loss.
Well, you have the other bench.
Yeah, but that's still huge.
Yeah.
That's like a minute. I don't know how that happened though. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what is fortunate.
What's that?
Sorry. We have a new donation coming in.
Excellent.
We have a $69 donation from Anonymous saying meme donation during a Keizaron for excellent gaming and commentary.
Thank you, thank you.
Keizaron, I like it.
Keizaron. Dang, that's unfortunate. I think I can cheese something so I don't have to grab the items. I'm not sure though. No, I cannot. All right.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
That's what's supposed to happen, but I got hit.
Yeah, even with all that health, it's still so dangerous here.
Okay. It's all good. It's all good. Anyone who cares about if it's a record or not, even though it's a marathon run, we are still 20 seconds ahead. That's how nutty some of our fights have been.
God, you're so good. It was like almost exactly a minute. Actually, it was literally plus 1 minute.
So let me get this on real quick. Relics, make sure I got all these right. I want appendage and gloves now. Very good. All right. Hopefully this fight goes decently well. I have my proper equipment, finally. I do want to try and hit some enemies to build some ult. Almost got it. That's fine. So we're gonna be a little spicy. So we can skip the bench and skip getting my third heal, because essentially if you need to heal on this next fight, you kind of messed it up anyway. But we're gonna take that chance.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be too bad. This fight gave a lot of casual players trouble, which understandably so if you don't understand the mechanic of Aline go burr.
The main scary thing is that she has some disjointed hitboxes that do not line up with her actual attacks.
Oh, none of those hit. Unlucky.
Yeah. Doing some stuff to air
yikes.
stall.
So normally she does 3. Rarely she does 4. So that was really unlucky that she decided to do a 4th one, because I did a really good job at air stalling. The only thing I did wrong was I accidentally double jumped. If I didn't double jump, we'd have another way to stall.
Yeah.
So this is technically the final boss before the final boss. This is like the penultimate boss. And this is where we get the ability to unlock doors.
Yeah. The best ability in the game.
No!
Oh,
What? I did not tell it to do that. That's unfortunate. What? Why are you doing that? I'm holding left. This is a weird place to lose time. There.
Yeah.
It's fine. We'll save time doing this.
So there's like several. It's not just like Silva and other main spirits and such that allow you to move. There's the colorblind boss is actually really good for horizontal movement, and there is another boss that gives you vertical movement. And they're both sub spirits, and those are how I believe you're intended to actually get that.
Oops.
Unpunished.
I couldn't see where I was going. If you click in the right stick, then you pull up a full version of the map, which is kind of what I accidentally did there. This part is actually extremely scary on every other category besides this one, because you have significantly less health. If we did all spirits, if you get hit by one of their projectiles, you die. That's it. You just die.
Yeah. Does B get enough health to be able to survive one hit?
One hit because you're on chapter 8, not chapter 9, because you skip Hainer. They do 159 damage on chapter 9. They do like 130 something on chapter 8. 120 something like that. So this is the final room before the boss. We're just picking up some items, and then we're actually dipping out because we're obviously not done yet. Man, that was a lot of time we lost. Unfortunate. So we are equipping Faden, even though we have broken Aline, because Faden serves a better purpose for some of these fights than Aline does. Oh, I told myself this. Okay, I told myself this last time I did that too. That's not faster. I don't know why I do that. Rude bird. So I actually missed out on getting the first sub 2-hour run of this category because of this room. There are 3 items. There are 2 here, and then there's one on the other side of that pillar, and I just completely forgot about that item. And it is a long trek back.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it is definitely faster for this.
Yeah. So there's a mini boss here, or sub boss.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's from a long time ago.
He's locked to chapter 1 no matter what.
This can't end well for him.
I even took the slower fight of letting him do fall damage. Because you can kill him while he's in the air, but like I figured we'd just show how sad it was.
It's so funny.
Really sad. Just picking up a couple more items here. Sometimes he can hit you. It's kind of funny. All right. We're going back to where we fought Garrett, except we're going to go the opposite way and actually pick up some of the items we skipped. There's an entire room we haven't gone to yet. You would go in this room in all spirits because getting this spirit early is actually really helpful. But in this category, he's completely useless. Ow. It's rude. Just trying to build up some ult.
I feel like the dogs being as annoying as they are qualify this game as a Souls-like.
So that's Faden's ult, is the hand that hit me earlier. It's kind of good. It's kind of really good.
Yeah, that's like the main spirit that you'll see in the current patch versions of the runs where Aline is
Nerfed to the ground.
Yeah. They just removed her from the game.
Pretty much. You still use her on Muriel, which was the boss that we just beat that was like really chonky, but... Aw. Once again, trying to build up some ult before the fight. It's better to do it on the way than waste your time slightly before the fight. And 2 should be an easy kill. 1 should be an easy kill. I forget. Sometimes you don't go inside enough for the projectiles to spawn, so... But when you do, oh boy. Oh, there's a bird there. Oops. Bye, bird. Everyone say bye, bird. We're birderers. All right, so now we're going back to Julius's castle to do some cleanup here. If you notice, we're doing a lot of our cleanup now. Oops, wrong level. We're doing a lot of our cleanup now because what the took so long to dodge? Because we have unlock, so we've delayed a lot of stuff. Doing Headless Defender, which was the shield guy, and what is going on? And Cliffside Hamlet Elder was mainly because we didn't have anywhere else to do it.
Okay, I see the value in Faden here.
Faden, go burr. No. He lived for 5 seconds longer than he should have. What a scam. All of this for that.
That's verbatim what I was about to say.
The one set of blight. You could actually use that to get to Julius, and in fact, that is the intended way to do it. You're not supposed to go up and around to One-Eyed Aegis like we did, but...
Yeah. It's unfortunate that you can't go the opposite way. Mm-hmm. I wish you could.
I think it'd be one less arena too, but like one of the arenas would be harder because they have the dragons. Yeah. How did he not fall? Imagine I just get experience because he fell like a dum-dum. This is an area that in the old route, like, we would go to early because that chain of sorcery is extremely valuable. So it's kind of funny to me that it's a cleanup thing now. In fact, if you ever looked at my notes, the way that I write notes, it's literally left, next line, down, next line, right, next line, right, next line, pick up item. Because there's just so much movement, like kind of dead movement because of the amount of like area you've already cleared. All right, so we're going back to Ulf's castle now, and this is actually a bit of a doozy. This is a lot of cleanup.
Yeah, there's a lot that we didn't do here because we didn't have a lot of stuff. Also, it's a lot faster considering the movement abilities you do have.
It would be if I didn't fall. This is where I'd put my ledge grab if I had one. These rats are annoying.
Yes.
No. No.
No.
Ow.
Ow. That was so much. They do so much damage.
They are chapter 5, 6. Oh no, they're chapter 6. So elevators are slow if you can just climb up walls. Pretty easy. Yeah, there really isn't any nice way to do this area, no matter like what order you do things in. Because you always have to do a lot of extra movement to get things.
Yeah, everything's kind of scattered. Like, we already got everything that's, you know, close. I love that drop because it's consistent, and as long as you don't wiggle too much, you're fine. It just looks so...
It looks scary if you don't know you're gonna land where you're gonna land, but there's a really good visual cue, so you're always safe.
Yeah.
I thought that was gonna like go through and hit me. Oh my god! Peyton Manning, calm down. Tom Brady. That's why we did that unlock earlier that Emre mentioned that was behind the box that you couldn't see, specifically for that item. There's a lot of that in this run. Like, oh man, we had to do all this extra effort for this one item. Again, one item. We actually used to do this area a lot earlier.
Yeah, I really like the way this cleanup is. Wow, rude. You were walking there.
Yes, cleanup really takes advantage of all the abilities and movement tech that you have, and also just it's actually pretty smooth because like it's like one consistent motion for a lot of it. And the next set of items I'm about to grab, I actually found out it was faster to do it this way because of randomizer. So you obviously have to climb this wall to grab this. But there's an item in this room that you have to do like a really strange like S/U shaped path to get here. Or you can just delay it until now and just get out.
Yeah, I remember when I was routing this, I was just like, I guess I'll put it here. And because it's such a weirdly placed item, but I really like that.
And now we're a couple of rooms away from 2 useless rooms, unless you really want to see ending A. So there's 4 items in here, and then the next 2 rooms we go to are nothing. But because of the rules of the category, we have to have not only all the items for 100%, but we also have to complete the map.
Yeah, that's why it's called map 100%.
So if we go down and left, which we can't access right now because there's a gate, we would go to that room that was to the right of Hainir. But we already did that because we did this silly little hook.
Yeah. TLDR, that was our mom, and she's like, okay, you can leave. And we're like, cool. And we leave. And that's the bad ending.
Yeah. So it's technically faster to do movement below and go through the enemies, but since I have to go above here, it's slower to climb if you do that. Now this area sucks.
Yeah, so this, there were more hooks added on later patches. But on this patch, you have to do some really wacky movement to make it up to that platform. Including
sometimes getting damage boosted like I just did right there.
That was really good.
Was that intentional? Absolutely not. I'm not going to take credit for that one. Was it helpful? Absolutely.
No, you're a gamer. I'm taking credit for you.
Okay. No. I do that every time. I'm like, I'm not going to be far enough to the right. And I'm too far to the left because I overcompensate. How did that not hit me? No, come back!
Oh no, this boss is kind of a bully. Okay, going. Okay,
Good enough.
He stood still.
He stood still long enough.
Yeah.
His cloud does an egregious amount of damage, even with this amount of health. I have lost a run to this before.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of absurd. All right, so we're gonna go back to the area that Aline was in, because there's one item to pick up there, and then there's also a door above that we have to unlock. But there's this little note.
Yeah, we don't take the bench because we're not weenies.
Exactly. As I recall one run you did where it's like, I'm too hurt, I'm gonna take the bench and be a weenie. I like how the music gets muted when you're in the water.
Yeah, that's a nice touch.
So I don't think there's actually a better way to do the movement here than like...
Yeah, unless, like, see, the problem is the enemies. Otherwise, you could maybe try to, like, skip up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe with you, if you have enough vertical between.
Yeah, but
Silva
the
and
amount of
double jump.
time it takes to invest taking out those enemies, you might as well just climb.
Yeah.
I take that part slow because you can accidentally hook yourself up. All right, now we go back to the catacombs for what I believe is the final time. And this is interesting because we actually do an arena here, which we used to skip, but it ended up being faster to do it this way because of how strong we are.
That makes sense. So you don't have to fight these spiders. You can just grab the stuff and go around. But that makes sense that, you know, since you fight Silva so early. Yeah.
Oh, I meant to get that health. Oh well, I'll heal.
It's fine.
We never really talked about that. So there's white flowers and red flowers. White flowers give you health back. If you already have all your heals, they just replenish like a percentage of your health. Otherwise, they give you another heal. And then red flowers replenish your spirits.
So that particular enemy is always level 10, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So it takes a while to kill this arena. It's probably one of the worst.
Okay, not bad, not bad.
Yeah, you ended up being fine.
Ended up being a gold split somehow.
Wow.
We'll take it. We'll take those. Even though it's sloppy.
Teacher time save.
Yeah. The downside of old patch. That's still in. That's something that you discovered.
Yeah. And then the worst item hidden in the game.
Yeah.
There was no indication at all.
It took me so long to find that casually.
Yeah.
All right. We're back here, and this is the last time we're going to be here. There's a lot of stuff we didn't get before. You know, on account of being here baby early. You know, if you do that pixel perfect, you can do the wall break, and it doesn't break the wall.
Really?
It is absurd.
We did a couple of these rooms earlier. There's also a sub-boss here. We're skipping one of them for now. And going straight to the sub-boss. I mean, a minor inconvenience.
He's chapter 3 locked, so he has no health.
Oh no, the poor child.
He actually, in other categories that you fight him in, which is only one to be fair, you actually build up your Aline ult, wait to stun him so he's out of his pot, and then Aline ult him. Not this category. Also, fun fact, this room in current patch has an item in it. And it was added because sometimes people would go in this room and be like, oh, I'm done, and not figure out how to get to the rest of the area. It's kind of like a nice indicator. I didn't do that early for the first time in my life.
Nice.
Ah!
Ah! At least they're low level. I could be a lot worse.
Yeah, could.
This area is terrifying if you fight Hainer late.
What the? Yes, I want to hook down, thanks.
something prioritizing the higher hook.
I don't know what you're
in
talking
future
about.
Patches.
Oh no.
Oh,
No, they're so rude.
They're not even boosting you in the right direction.
No, they're not. It's really rude. Alright, I'll heal. Jeez. I'll be safe. Something marathon safety.
What?
That was really muted. It's usually really loud.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna complain. It's really obnoxiously loud normally. All right, so we're about 15 minutes from done. Like, we're actually really close to being done. Maybe like 17 minutes, because I'm thinking loadless timer.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of rooms that you don't go into when you first get here. For the obvious reasons of no abilities and also being as strong as a wet noodle. I'm bummed that I got hit, but...
We really did nothing here. Dogs!
Ah! Ah! Jeez!
Get me out of here.
It's horrible. Where's the hook I want? It's so dark.
Funny story, casually, I was struggling to find that item because I was only hooking the ones under me and I didn't know there was one higher.
That's understandable.
Good video game.
All right. This is a double wall, by the way.
Yeah, we actually used to get this item in older routes too, because that could let us get our Umbral up to level 4. Because we used to use Umbral more as a main spirit.
I'll get there one day. No! Rude. Ouch, ouch.
Oh, I did so much. I'm excited to see what Dark Executioner looks like with this early Hainer route. What's the face?
You'll see.
Oh no. Does he explode? Oh no.
Deserved. He's one of the most annoying bosses in all spirits because you can lose a run to him.
Yeah.
You literally just hand of God him, and it's great.
Yeah. He obviously is like the sub boss under Hainer, and he also likes to teleport and.
It's really obnoxious.
He's basically like the ads, but a boss.
Okay. This is the other spirit, other sub-spirit that gives you really good movement. He's called Verboten Champion. All of those dashes were horrible, so we're going to take that slow. Another run killer in all spirits. Because all spirits, everything's a run killer because you just don't have health.
Yeah.
You don't have health, you don't have resources. We're actually extremely OP right now. Let's see if I do this right. There's a fast kill on him. No!
That was so good though. I've never seen that.
It's fine. We got him anyway. Yeah, if you do that just right, you basically just
Juggle.
volleyball serve him into an Aline. A nice heaping spoonful of 10 explosions. Now, this is something I forgot to do in D-Rust, and we had to come back. Let's climb up here for the other item.
Oh.
All right.
So we're on our way to the area, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so we're gonna equip a bunch of healing related items along with our mask. This area is one of the worst areas in the game, and it's the reason that Ending C needs a lot of health. Because the fog and the, what do I call it? The soup? The pomegranate juice.
Yeah, let's go with that.
A lot of damage compared to the stuff outside of this area. Like, it's more concentrated here, I think, is the lore.
Also, my splits, for my reference, are going to look bad here because, like I said, I forgot an item earlier in my PB, so it's going to look like I'm losing time, but I promise myself I'm not.
Yeah, see, the fog does 10 damage per tick.
Now's not the time to prioritize the wrong hook. Also, this is really dangerous. You take any hit, you're basically dead.
Yeah, there's not going to be time to heal.
And then we got to do that again in the water.
Yeah, it should be one more heal. It's almost over.
I'm going to take this slow.
Understandable. It's also hard to see because of the red on red.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, that's
I'm
it.
stuck on something.
What? If that's how you died? Oh my goodness. Yeah, so this is our last tablet and also our last ancient soul.
And it's treated as a cutscene. It's treated like a sub-spirit because they expect this to be the last time you get an ancient soul.
Yeah.
So there's actual lore behind everything.
Yeah. Also, the fog is a boss. Confirmed.
Yeah. Actually, though. All right, we are at what I refer to as final cleanup. We're back at the beginning, which, funny enough, the beginning is where you get the final item for true ending. 54 seconds ahead. How bad is my time?
You lost that minute earlier, too. You're so good.
This is one of the items that casually is actually kind of hard to figure out. It took me a while.
Yeah.
No judgment from me.
I really wish that we could get that earlier in the run because I feel like it could be valuable. Because what that does is it gives you a higher jump and double jump. So.
Oh. Rude. The ceiling of that room is higher in older patches than it is in current patches. So sometimes, it doesn't happen too often, but sometimes you can not hit it. I kept Eldred's Ring equipped instead of Ricorous, unfortunately, so I only have one ult, but that's fine. We can work with that. See, we can work with that. Archer's good. Archer, very good. All right, we are literally like, I think 3 minutes RTA from being done because this went really well. Now, of course, I'm concerned that I maybe missed an item, which we do our check at the end. We'll see, though.
I think you're fine. I don't remember.
I don't think I missed anything.
But I also don't know the new route.
You don't know the new route, yeah. So yeah, this is the absolute beginning of the game. This is where we start. Surprise, surprise, if you go the wrong direction, there's an item that tells you, hey, you can't go this way without stuff. And that tells you how to get the item we're about to get. Good thing we know how to do that, because how would I be able to pick this up otherwise?
Yeah.
It's called the Luminant Aegis Curio. It's how you get the true ending. Because it stops absolute corruption.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't noticed, we're getting more and more red. All right, let's see. It's Lean, Crypt, Aegis, Relics, I'm just gonna do it in the order it tells me, just so I don't mess up. Appendage, you, gloves, aura, Calivia, Luminant. We're going to upgrade you to 6, you to 6, you to 6, you to 6.
Yeah, and the last one that he upgraded to 6 is important because he hits higher. So he actually can't hit Mom without being at level 6.
I almost missed that item again.
I would have said something. I was just mid.
All right, so this is Mom. She has 2 phases because we have the Aegis Curio equipped. Oh, what?
Already?
Yeah, I hacked her.
Alright, already on the last phase of phase 1. Trying to save an alt, I assume, for the...
Yeah, trying.
Yeah, for the beginning of the second phase, because we're gonna need a little bit of iframes. She opens with a very scary attack. I'm gonna take advantage of the iframes there instead of having to dodge those.
Ah, heck, she fell.
Oh no, it's alright. She has less health in this phase.
There we go.
GG.
All right, so it's not done yet. There's one more item to pick up that you don't get until after you beat her. And once I pick that up, it will be time. So right now it's just a mashing game. And then I'll pull up my map to make sure that we actually got it. It's a good thing to try and verify because if I didn't mess up, this is record.
By like a minute.
All right, and that's time ideally. So let's find out.
Moment of truth.
Nothing's blue.
Nothing's red.
Nothing's red, other than the last room, which doesn't turn yellow in this patch. That is world record.
Good job, baby.
That is world record by 59 seconds. With a death.
Jeez.
With a death.
Yeah.
Well, hey, it was sub 2 RTA too. That's the first sub 2 RTA in the game's history.
Wow.
Wow.
And I wish y'all could see the splits. It's 56, 56, 56, 59. He's so consistent.
Wow.
Yeah.
If only I didn't die. Well, that tells me that like a 155 or 154 is possible, but that kind of hurts me because I want to play other categories.
No. I believe in you. You did a great job. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, baby. Well, that's Ender Lilies 100%.